Well, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to have you along. Now, as you can see, I'm in one of these fodder beet paddocks way up the top of the farm, and I'm about to feed out some bales. But last time I was in this paddock, I was doing some filming on how beneficial this GoWeil bale slice is to our business and how it compares to just a normal set of forks. And so then I went home and started to edit that video and realized that there's no audio to the intro. But I don't switch the tractor over to a normal set of forks. I just disconnect the third service from the front end loader system. Now, one thing I realized, the bale wrap on these bales is that tough my sharpened knife can't get through. So I quickly improvised and started unwinding the wrap off the bale instead of cutting it, which works out faster and less messier in my eyes. But there's just one little fixture that I have to do in this corner of the paddock because the cows popped the hose off the trough. It's because this hose here fell off of that trough there and it caused a whole lot of flooding. So I've moved the trough there, and then I'll bang up this little temporary fence around all this water. Now, come here, guys. Because we had all that rain overnight, we now have a pool in this side of the paddock, but I've fenced it off to keep them cows out, and it should dry out quite quickly because the hedge is right there. Okay guys, enough jamming around with fencing. But wait a minute, one thing is on the back foot of winter grazing, always getting a bad rap at this time of the year. I just want to show you guys that us farmers, we do care. And we do want our paddocks to dry out, of course, in a responsible way in order to get those cultivators moving fast. It's in our best interest to have dry paddocks as well and to graze responsibly in order to get cultivating earlier. See, I was editing this video last night and I just thought, well, tomorrow I'll be in that paddock and I'll be able to see how good it is to fence off and also have trees at the bottom of your paddocks so that water's got somewhere to go. So this is obviously where the reel is, and there's your water. Now obviously I'm still going to leave that fence up because that water's still got to drain away a little bit more, but that right there is why we fence it off, to keep the cows out, to dry out our paddocks so we can get cultivating earlier. We have got some bales to feed out, but I'll set the timer and then I'll start. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. So I knew you guys would get terrorized by mad cows over here, so I set you up on a bale. Now, just so you know I'm not cheating, there goes the third service to that bale slice. So that won't work now. I'll sit that there and I'll come back later. Okay guys, so what did that take to feed out 10 bales of silage? Whoa. So that took a whopping nearly 40 minutes. Now, I've not only got a dirty cab, but let's see how long it took to feed out with the bale slice than without the bale slice. 27 minutes to feed out 10 bales of silage. Okay guys, so I just got a phone call on my way home, and now I find myself in one of the calf paddocks pulling out a dead calf. So unfortunately this little girl here hasn't made it, and so I better take it and dump her. Now it's an unfortunate thing that this has happened, but as you could tell with the way she was sitting, she most likely got choked by her mates moving on top and feeding over top of her. They're not even going to do a guard of honor, they're just standing there. So obviously that calf got dumped in the dead sheep hole. Well, now that we're not sheep farmers, it's probably the offal pit. Then I had some lunch. I figured out just how productive that GoWeil is compared to a set of forks. Now I sat down and crunched all the numbers off the basis of having that GoWeil being 1 minute 12 seconds faster per bale. Of course we feed out about 1600 bales just to those 5 herds up the top, and when I finished multiplying all that up, it came out at almost 30 hours difference. So we are 30 hours better off with that GoWeil rather than a set of forks. We are absolutely staggered. So that is why we bought that GoWeil. But also, check out the bottom of our cab. Because I've been jumping in and out of the cab to get rid of the wrap, it's left our cab in such a state. Same with the steering wheel and also the instruments. And so another thing is, it obviously keeps the cab clean. The tractor's obviously not idling. So when I jumped out of the cab to remove the wrap from the bales, the tractor's sitting there idling, not doing anything. But with the GoWeil, it's always moving and always revving and doing something. And with that 30 hours, you've got to factor in the tractor's running for those 30 hours. That's more depreciation on your gear, that's more diesel, servicing, wearing parts, everything. So let's multiply that by 10 years. So that comes out at 300 hours extra on the tractor and extra work out in the paddock. So there's a no-brainer there, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we have the GoWeil, and that's why we love it. So in the background of that little video, you may have noticed we have got some broken soldiers here, and I've got to get them fixed up. Broken here, broken here, broken here, here, we're broken here, and up here. Oh shit, I didn't even put my overalls on properly. That's feeder number 2 finished. Now as you can see, there's the H's in the middle, but the H's weren't there when we bought them. We have welded them in ourselves. Why? Well, without those H's, this chassis or frame wouldn't be as rigid as it is today. We were noticing that these frames were cracking and breaking in here, so the idea was thrown at us to weld up these H frames and then to weld them in to our feeders. 3 meters by 3 meters by another 3 meters, 9 meters per feeder, 24 feeders. Put that together, 216 meters of inch by inch boxing went into strengthening the structure of these feeders so we can keep them for longer.